Yo, welcome to Sig Slayers, the comic signature show, period. I'm Mike the Sig Slayer, chilling with my man, Tony the Signature King. What up, man?
What's going on?
Man, Baltimore Comic Con is what's going on right now. And we talked, and we got a lot of discussing to do. We got a lot of unpacking to do. Stats fam, we are getting into prepping, signature prepping for Baltimore Comic Con. It is the 25th anniversary, I believe, Tony, and the 25th to 30th, and the list is jam-packed. But before we dive in, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and please comment. All right, Baltimore Comic Con, Tony. It's crazy. It's going to be fantastic. At the same time, it's going to be my first time. Who are you most excited to see at Baltimore?
Oh man, you don't know how many answers that question has. Oh gosh, some of the big highlights that I'm chasing this year, and I'm doing a lot of witness signatures, which is something I don't do, but I'm targeting Dan Jurgens, Brett Breeding, Mark Waid, Jose Luis Garcia Lopez, Jim Lee, lots and lots of people. Shane Davis is one of them.
Oh, Shane Davis. I haven't seen him in a while.
Yep, Shane Davis, Cully Hemner, Frank Cho. Gosh, those are just the ones that I can think of.
For me, the names that come to mind that I'm like, okay, definitely. Steve Epting. I never met him. I want to hopefully try to get a sketch from him, as well as get some SIGs from him. You mentioned him, Jose Luis Garcia Lopez, the legend. I met him for the first time earlier this year in Kansas City, but he was kind of on the run. Had to go to another event in the con, so I just only had a couple minutes with him. So I want to spend more time with Jose Luis, and then Mike Hawthorne. That's a name. This is why we're meeting, Tony, because when I was at C2E2 in Chicago, I was not prepared for Mike Hawthorne. Mike Hawthorne is also the current artist on Batman with Jorge Jimenez, okay? And so I got caught slipping right then and there. So I get to redeem myself this year and get him in Baltimore. So I'm really excited about that. But obviously, man, we're both excited about Jim Lee. Isn't this your first time seeing the Master, Jim Lee?
Yeah, first time ever. So I'm very excited about it. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, like I'm ultra excited about it. This is gonna be my first time in Baltimore. I don't know what to expect, so I'm just gonna use my con sensibilities and just maneuver way through. Early bird gets the worm, so I'm gonna definitely get there sooner than later and try to strategize. But part of the strategy, Tony, is also being prepared with your books, right?
Obviously, huge part.
You're no rookie to Baltimore Comic Con. I'm a rookie to Baltimore Comic Con. And even you, the king, the signature king, is having issues whittling down the stat. Because, you don't live in Baltimore. I don't live in Baltimore. We can't bring everything. This is not a local event for us, right? So we definitely have to think with our wise minds on this. And so this is why we have the signature prep for Baltimore, and that's the theme of the show. And so basically the concept of what we're going to be doing, Stats fam, is that we got 10 books and they're going to be in groups of 2. And I give Tony advice and Tony gives me advice. Both books are fringe books, or books that you got to just eliminate, or books that you got to just secure. It just depends. So the criteria of how you grouped your 2 is up to the individual, but the opposite party chooses what stays and what goes. And that's part of it, Stats fam, as we're trying to get and try to share the SIG science with you guys, because there's definitely a method to our madness. You can't just go into these conventions blindly and expect to get favorable results. So this is our attempt to help you guys while helping us at the same time, if you can understand that. So, Tony, round 1. I don't know about you, Tony. I need the most help with the Jim Lee stack. What about you?
That's an important stack to narrow down. If I could, I'd be walking around with just a wagon of Jim Lee's, but obviously it's very unrealistic. Also, I need some assistance whittling down my top picks for the legend.
Yeah, so I guess there's a de facto Jim Lee signature roundtable, and this is going to be our signature roundtable Baltimore prep. This is for Jim Lee. So, oh wow, I didn't expect it to be this way. We don't necessarily talk about what we're going to prepare for when we do these signature roundtables because I want to be surprised as well. So, wow, we're both thinking like great minds. We got to whittle down the Jim Lee stack. Why is that, Tony? Well, Jim Lee's not free, right?
No.
It's not free. And so when you're spending, however much you're spending on Jim Lee's, and he's not cheap, he's not a $10 Sig, let's just say that, okay? You got to be very selective, especially when you're a legend like Jim Lee and have a resume on both sides where you can go DC or Marvel heavy, right? So it's really hard to whittle them down. Tony, this is your first time meeting Jim Lee, right?
Very first, yeah.
Okay, so before we get into your first roundup, right? And again, Stats fam, the first roundup is he's going to pair two friends' books, and I get to pick which one Jim Lee gets to sign, and the other one stays at home, and he gets to do the same for me. Might be easy choices, might be some difficult choices, right? But we're using our signature wisdom because you're dealing with royalty here and you're dealing with a Sig Slayer over here. So here we go. So we're going to start round one with you, Tony. And before you pull up your books, I have to ask this question. Are you leaning more towards DC with Jim Lee's career or toward Marvel?
Almost exclusively DC, with one exception.
Okay, one exception. Yeah. Okay.
Two exceptions, I'm sorry.
Okay, so all right, so now I'm curious. Round one, what are the two books, man? I'm licking my chops now.
All right.
What's going on? And we also got to say why we picked two.
Yeah. So my first pick was Dark Days Casting. Only because it's a super awesome book. This changed the game in a lot of ways. You know what I mean? Like, this was an awesome story. We got Batman Who Laughs coming out of this. So, that was definitely a hard yes for me. I really wanted this. My other choice was Dark Days The Forge.
Okay.
Both are pre-signed. Well, not pre-signed, but I already got them signed by James Tynion.
Oh, okay. Both of them. When'd you see James?
2017 in Baltimore Comic Con. So, yeah.
I was totally screwing that up.
That's right.
So once again, Tony, you got those signed by James Tynion. Where again?
Baltimore Comic Con in 2017.
2017. So you've been sitting on those books pretty much since they came out.
Since they came out, yep.
Yeah, because those books came out around that time. So they're both under the Dark Knights, mythos, and they're the two books before the actual Metal series. Yep. So I think this is very easy. I would go with the casting because that's the actual first appearance of the Dark Knights.
Okay.
So like that's the most important book in the chronology. I actually have that book signed by Jim Lee and Kubert and Tynion and Snyder.
Of course.
So Stash Champ, if I had to pick between those two books that Tony picked, and we'll definitely have the overlay picks over so you can see them in its entirety, I would pick the casting, Tony, because that's the actual first appearance of the Dark Knights there, the cameo. We got Tony's Group 1 roundup. This is the signature roundtable for Baltimore Comic Con prep, and we are gearing up for Jim Lee. So now here's my round one. I think this is a no-brainer. I pretty much pulled out. There we go. I pulled out the books, all my Jim Lee books that I wanted to get signed, and then I had to eliminate them. On the right side here, we have the very rare Burbank edition, which is outselling the RRP, which I think is crazy. But I won this last year. And then I have this Batman in Barcelona. I want to get it signed because it has Mark Waid on it already, who's also a legend. Obviously, you can find these in dollar bins anywhere, but it's also a part of the whole stack of books that I intended to bring. But if it was up to you, Tony, which book would you put?
It's a shame, but I agree. It's an easy pick. It's the Burbank edition, just because of it's a one of a kind book, so to speak. So you're not going to see this, in a dollar bin like you would Batman in Barcelona. And man, it's a gorgeous cover with an incredible story to go with it of how you obtained it.
Yes, exactly. Oh, you talking about this? Yeah.
It's a great story how he came into your collection. It's going to be one. It's going to be value wise in terms of dollars. This is going to be up there, and one, it's going to have amazing sentimental value for you.
Yeah, amazing sentimental value. I felt like I was born to have this book. I graduated high school in Burbank. My son was born in Burbank. I'm a Batman fan.
Easy no brainer.
It's like, come on, all these guys from all over the world was winning this book, but the guy that's in Burbank that could take pictures right by the statue with it, right? And so, thank you, Tony, for letting this one survive.
I'm jealous. That's a great book.
Okay, so hold on. So we're doing a Comic-Con. I mean, the Baltimore Comic Con signature prep. Tony, we are with your round 2.
So this one, I'm a huge fan of the Suicide Squad. It's one of my favorite teams in DC. So getting the Rebirth foil, as a Royal of Foil does, I was very excited to do that. So Jim Lee on the cover, I think he did an amazing job. However, the other option was his first X-Men. So tough to pick. And the reason why I chose this one, obviously I'm a big Jim Lee fan. This is some of his first work, in a major publisher. So this has a lot of sentimental value for Jim Lee.
I agree, Tony, and I think this is a no-brainer. I would go with the Uncanny X-Men, and I can't believe I'm saying that as a DC guy.
Yeah.
Because of what you said. Now, before we put the foil down, I've seen that book before, but is that the Rebirth one that Jim Lee did, where it's all of them, where it's like he did Wonder Woman and all of that?
Oh no! This is just the standard A cover that he did, just the foil convention exclusive.
Okay, so this is not the special ones. You know which ones I'm talking about, right? Where it's like a solo Wonder Woman, a solo Batman, and those books are like hundreds of dollars.
They're about $400 a piece, unsigned.
Is that one of those?
It's from that same Rebirth storyline, but
it's not that. It's not part of that batch. Okay,
no.
So I would say I would still go with the Uncanny because of. That's his first one.
It's number one, yeah.
And if it was, and if it was something else, and I'm also matching it up against what you put it up against. It's hard for me to put that over that. The modern foil over
the classic.
The classic, and you're gonna get, like a sick ass Jim Lee Sig on there. And just for the record, I have 3 Marvel books in my collection that are signed.
Okay.
Superman versus Spider-Man, the first crossover Treasury. And then Uncanny versus New Teen Titans. And X-Men #1.
Oh, very cool.
Yes, because I didn't have that book. I don't go out looking for Marvel books, but I got that. Someone gave me that book, and it was the Magneto cover, and Magneto is one of my favorite villains, period, not just Marvel. And so I was like, yeah, man, and it has a lot of historical connotation
It
behind it.
does.
The highest selling book of all time, and that's not gonna get that record is not gonna get broken. And so that's why I did it. And so I got Jim Lee on it, Scott Williams, and even Chris Claremont. So you know, also Stash Fam, another this is a point. This is where you go like right where it's you, right now we're saying we're on the fringe. So we're putting up books that we're 50-50 on, right? But also, what is the overall general philosophy and what books we decide? Well, for me personally, I'm a DC fan, so I usually try to go chronological key wise around that individual's career in DC, right? But then you got people like Jim Lee and Todd McFarlane, right? We're on the flip where I would definitely get Detective Comics and All-Star Squadron and stuff like that. Infinity, I would get some of that stuff signed by Todd McFarlane because it's more rare to see that.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And chronologically speaking, he did all that stuff before he even went to Marvel.
That's true.
So you're getting his early career. And so that's just my take. Trying to get the pivotal moments, i.e., the moments that you identify with the most, right? Get those signed. And then if you're just obsessed like we are, then you just start tracking that person's career and try to get the pivotal stuff first because you never know when you're going to see that person again. So don't shuck and jive, guys.
Yeah, don't sleep on it.
Yeah, get your hard hitters out of the way first. Do not try to do any kind of, as I call, signature foreplay. Do not do that, okay? Get it done. Get her done because you never know if you're going to see this person again. Things happen. So that's why I chose the Uncanny Tony because that's his first Uncanny.
It's a smart pick. It really is. It's a smart pick. No brainer.
Okay. So my round two, the same cover, right? The same cover for two different time periods. So this Wizard magazine here is the first collaboration between Alex Ross and Jim Lee. And this is from, I think, 2004. Wizard magazine is in pristine condition, Tony. The first ever collab between Jim Lee and Alex Ross. But then this year, World's Finest, Alex Ross came out with the official cover. And the reason why I chose this, Tony, because obviously it has Alex Ross on there, right? And I can get Mark Waid on there and Dan Mora at some point. So this book can be 4 times signed, or versus the other one could potentially be 2 times signed. And it's a Wizard magazine versus this being a actual comic, but they're the same. They're the same cover, same image, but this one here is the OG. This actually just came out, San Diego Comic Con 2024, but it's already signed by the elusive one, the great Alex Ross. So, Tony, tell me what you're picking.
Man, it's tough. You got 2 rare Pokemons right there. Honestly, I'm gonna have to give it to World's Finest.
World's Finest,
only because of like what you said. This is a unique opportunity where you can add not only just Jim Lee, but Mark Waid will also be there. So you can add him on the same day. And unfortunately, you can't with the magazine. Although the magazine is cool. It is very cool. So yeah, World's Finest.
World's Finest. So World's Finest makes the cut. Round 3. Tony, what you got, baby?
So this was a very recent one that Jim Lee had done. Very recent cover. And I love it. And I love this character. And that is One Bad Day Penguin.
Oh,
Great
yeah.
cover. Yeah, love it. So, one of my favorite villains, just because Danny DeVito, every time I see the Penguin, I don't see anybody else but Danny DeVito. Versus
Okay.
Jim Lee's only time doing this character in his whole career. And that would be Jim Lee's only Ninja Turtle cover with CBS Action Zone.
Really?
Yes.
I've never seen that, man. Now you're educating me while you're.
So I found this for like something stupid, like a quarter at a flea market. And I only got it because it was like, hey, it's a quarter. It looks cool. I recognize Jim Lee's art all day. So let me snag it up. I go home. I'm thumbing through it. I'm looking online. It's the only time he's ever done Ninja Turtles. And it's on this cover.
On a published cover. And
published cover.
And what? And who present? What? Who's the publisher?
CBS.
CBS.
Yeah, the TV station.
Really?
Yep. And they were advertising.
Oh yeah, when Wildcats had their show and stuff.
When they're advertising Saturday morning cartoons, you know.
Wow. Ooh.
So it's like, ooh, yeah, man. Like, now that I heard Jim Lee was coming to town, I was like, ooh, like.
Versus, okay, all right. I made my decision.
All right, here you go.
Okay. Damn, that's crazy. But I have to take the greater of the two, and I have to go with the Action Zone, man. Because here's why. That's not only promoting TV, he created the Wildcats. Like that's Ninja Turtles with the Wildcats.
Yes.
When are you going to see that combination? Raphael, like when are you going to see that promoting television? So like he left DC, went to Image, created Wildstorm, was Wildstorm universe, right? Made a freaking TV show out of it, right? That is a forgotten relic, right?
It is. It really
is a forgotten relic. And then the One Bad Day, here's what I'll say of why I would tuck that away for now. I would get that sign. I mean, let me just speak on that real quick. That's probably one of the better Jim Lee covers of recent. It's beautiful. It's not a typical Jim Lee cover in my book. That actually has like a lot of action. I mean, acting in it and drama. I love the way Alison Clare colored it, the lighting in it. It's great. But if we're talking about person's career, right? What could get better than his IP with probably the most popular independent IP in modern times in the Ninja Turtles? So you got his creation with Peter Laird and Kevin Eastman promoting. They both graduated to TV. Like to me, that's a success. Like to me, that says a lot. Like that's a comic book creator's dream to get their TV show, like Robert Kirkman and Garth Ennis and people like that, right? Where it's your own intellectual property, right? And you elevate it up. Now the difference is this had mass appeal during this time. These were what cartoons that kids were watching. So like this also added to the lore of Jim Lee's career. And so I've never seen that before. So this is just my raw reaction, Tony.
No, that's okay.
Yeah, I like that.
And keep in mind, this isn't DC. This isn't Marvel. This isn't Image. It's nothing. It's CBS. Put this out on their own.
Right.
So it's outside. It's like an Elseworlds of Jim Lee. It's I
have like a question.
Another world. Yeah.
You're getting that graded?
I don't know. I'm on the fence. I really am. I'm on the fence.
Well, I'll always say don't. But if you did, like I said, I'm gonna say it again. I always say don't. But if you did, how many of those will be in the census?
I looked at both CBCS and CGC. They do not exist on any census. Zero. It would be one of one for now. Now that the video's out there, everyone's going to snag this up.
That's what I mean. Like that's some ill shit, dude.
Yep.
Like that to me is unique.
Super unique.
And that's what makes Sig slaying such a beautiful thing, because you could take something that people didn't know what existed, right? Now they got to get their hands on it. Your hands are already on it, and you're going to put it in front of Jim Lee, which creates that rarity to another degree. So I hope we're in agreement, man. That's sick.
We agree. This is exactly why I pulled this one out, because it's the only one I've ever seen, and I have. Well, I'm sure there's a billion out there, but and it's super unique. It is very unique, especially when you add a signature to it. Oh, it's a whole nother level. Transcends,
level, bro.
Yeah, whole nother level.
So all right, so my round 3. This is definitely a 50-50. I like this one could go either way. It's like one of those situations where, okay, next time if this one doesn't go, the next it's completely 50-50. But there are 2 books that I want to get signed by Jim Lee as soon as possible. So I'm going to start with Detective Comics 1027.
Ooh, I like that.
This is already signed by Scott Williams, his mainstay inker, right? Getting used to this.
And he has a great signature. His signature is just beautiful.
Yes, it is. And Alex Sinclair is on this. And just Stats fam, if you want to see Alex Sinclair color this cover, he did it on this channel. So you can see Alex Sinclair recolor this and compare this published cover to what he did on the Sig Slayer channel. So this has some sentimental value in that degree, but not that much, because Alex already signed it. So for me, as long as Alex signed it, because he was the guy that joined me. Here we go. Detective Comics 1027. Then we have this Batman Fortnite 0 Point. I love this. I'm a G.I. Joe fan. This is the first Batman Snake Eyes cover. Ooh. We don't know if this is going to happen. This was a hot comic to get. This was like 2021 or whatever, like where comics were still, we were still trying to get back from the pandemic, and it was, tough to get these. And then the gamers wanted these Fortnite books because you could get skins.
That's right.
There's a code where you can get the skins. And so I didn't care about that. I was like, ooh, Jim Lee on Batman and G.I. Joe. So it's kind of like what you were saying with Ninja Turtles, whatever. But so this is one that, I think it's just cool. I don't think Jim Lee would do a Batman G.I. Joe crossover. Oh, but you never know. We have Detective Comics 1027 or Batman Fortnite 0 Point.
Oh my gosh. That's
and this one's signed also by Scott Williams. So they're both signed by Scott Williams already. But obviously, and this one's signed by Scott Williams, Alex Sinclair, and Laura Martin.
I'm gonna have to give it to the game cover, G.I. Joe Snake Eyes. Yeah.
Boom.
Only because, like you said, super unique. It's a 0 cover. It's Jim Lee doing video game stuff. Like, what? That's crazy. That one's definitely gonna have to take it. I see those comics all the time, but that's the first time I've ever seen that cover. Is
really?
That a variant?
Yeah, this was the variant. So this wasn't the standard cover. I think Michael Janine did the standard cover for this one.
Okay.
But yeah, this was definitely a variant, and the comic book shops was being kind of stingy with these. And this was the only Jim Lee cover of that series too. So,
perfect.
But yeah, so
easy.
I'll agree with you on that one, Tony. Man, that's awesome. Okay, we are round 4 in our Baltimore Comic Con prep stats, fam. We are doing all Jim Lees. We're whittling down 10 to 5, and so far we got 3, right? And so we got 2 more groups to whittle down. Tony, round 4 is all you.
So this one, if I know you and I know the audience, I know which one they're going to pick, and I set it up this way on purpose.
Okay.
So there's an ultimate showdown. I picked in my opinion, the best for last.
Okay.
So I'm going to hype round 5. But so here we are, round 4. Up first, we got Batman, One Bad Day, Two-Face. Great cover. Fabulous
And that's
cover.
Batgirl. That's my favorite Batgirl.
Yep, it is the ultimate Batgirl. Versus this new one that came out on this current run of Wonder Woman. The foil variant. Second print foil variant for the current Wonder Woman run.
Now, okay. Now, I have a question about the Wonder Woman, Tony.
Yep.
Isn't that the Wonder Woman that's the centerpiece to the...
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, so you have Batman on one side, Superman on the other, and hopefully you have Wonder Woman in the middle. So,
okay.
What do you think?
This one's tough. This one's tough, man. But I'm going with the Wonder Woman, dude, because it's the... I don't know what your end game is, but I'm hoping that you have the soups and the Batman and that's the centerpiece. And that, I don't know, man. That to me is more iconic. You're meeting Jim Lee for the first time. That's the more iconic. Like he even promoted that image because he felt so confidently about it. He even put the images together so you can see all three. So it's clearly a motif that kind of goes hand in hand with Jim Lee's career as well, on the DC end. And One Bad Day, don't get me wrong, great story, all of that. But if we're talking about something that's potentially career defining, which I think the Gargoyle bookends, and then when he did that commemoration cover for Wonder Woman, and then made it the third part of the Trinity. I think, you pit the Bad Day with that. I'm thinking, if I'm thinking if that's mine, I'm already planning to get the Batman and the Superman signed. So what do you say?
Yeah, totally agree. That's what I was hoping you were going to pick. So perfect. That's exactly what I was going to pick.
Okay. So I definitely want to get your feedback.
No, you picked exactly how I wanted you to. So A+.
Yeah, man. Like I just feel like I said, the One Bad Day, the cover is cool, but when you think about it on a grand scheme, like that motif is, I'm pretty sure at some point they're gonna make a panoramic, like poster of it if they don't already.
Yeah, I'm sure they have. I mean, if they didn't, that's stupid. I mean,
right?
Yeah.
So I just think that, I just think that's the way to go. So round 4 for me, Tony. Baltimore Comic Con prep. This is my first time. Tony's a veteran. I'm a veteran with Jim Lee. Tony's first time with Jim Lee, but we got Jim Lee issues, right? So, so we're trying to reduce these issues down. Tony got 4. I got 3. This is my round 4, and it's going to get interesting these next 2 rounds. All right. Jeez. The first one. Okay. You know what's funny, Tony? We talked about that motif.
Yep.
Here it is again.
Oh.
But this is with Future State. Okay. Now, obviously, I got the OG already, right? I'm a Batman guy, so I want to get, all the iterations of the Jim Lee Gargoyle, right? This is the Jace Fox Batman, right? That came out in Future State, I think in 2021 or something
like that, yep.
Right? But what makes it cool is we have an Alice Sinclair Bat logo on it too.
Ooh.
Which kind of gives it a little bit of flair. And I was thinking, get Jim Lee with the gold, see Scott Williams down the road, bada bing, bada boom. It looks kind of cool, right? All right. But I have this. This
man.
is Jim Lee sketch variant. This is the first, I think, the first cameo appearance of Jaime Reyes, Blue Beetle. Okay. Infinite Crisis 3. This is the sketch cover. This is Jim Lee sketch cover. I'm obsessed with Jim Lee sketch covers. I'm absolutely obsessed. Absolutely. And this is not only signed by Jeff Johns, but Phil Jimenez and the great George Perez on this already. Okay. Who you got? Which one you got?
Oh man, you know what? I'm gonna have to go with Infinite Crisis number 3. As cool as the Future State one was, it was a tough choice. But as soon as you dropped a George Perez, I was like, it's over. George Perez put me over the edge. The late great George Perez. So to see a George Perez and a Jim Lee on a Jim Lee sketch cover, yeah, that's gonna do it for me. That's the easy pick, man.
Yeah, and I didn't think of that sketch cover. This will be my only one. I'll take that back. No, I got issue 6 sketch cover, the Superboy Prime.
Okay,
my favorite one. That's my favorite.
Yes,
but this here, and this is just chipping away years. Okay, I'll get Jim Lee, so I have to pick. So whittling down stacks, right? So this finally makes the cut, Tony, where it goes to the show and it's gonna get signed after years and years and years. So it just sometimes it be that way. Jim Lee's career is so prolific where Hush and all the variants, things happen, then Batman Damn got hot. Someone to get that. So sometimes things pop up. But I am in 100% agreement with you. I want this. All right. Okay. This is crazy. Tony's final round.
So the two that I got left are the two titans of the DC industry. And it's always been the greatest conversation in comics. Who's better? And we'll decide it here after all. So here we have Superman, versus the Batman.
Oh, snap.
Let's figure it out. So,
shite.
Yeah.
Okay. So my spidey senses were correct. You had the Batman and the Superman. You have you have the Trinity in hand, right?
Yes, sir.
You put Wonder Woman up first, so she survives.
She lives.
She lives. But one of her JL members, charter members, I might add, is going to be on a chopping block. Okay, this is very easy, but I have to ask this question first.
Yep.
The Batman. There's a lot of those foil Batmans. Is that the one that came out last year? Is that the one with the air? Did you buy that last year? No, the Batman one. Is that the one from Batman Day last year?
I don't know.
Okay, so look that up because there's last year they came out with that. I have that foil, and then there's another one that's like a Mexican, I think a Mexican convention variant.
Yep.
But it has the trade dressing on it. The Virgin one is from the Batman Day, but then there's an error one. The first printing is error, and I think it's with the white logo. And then there's another one with the black logo. What's
the error?
I forgot. I forgot what it was, but and it's like I actually think it's manufacturing sound. I didn't see anything wrong with the book, but look it up because I believe that's the one from last year around Batman Day. They reprinted that, and the first print was a was an error, and then they came out with another one with a different logo. I have both for safe measure. So anyway, this is easy, Tony, for me. I'm a Batman guy. I'm going to pick Batman over Superman all day. And you're more of a Shazam guy, so you're probably more of a Superman guy. I don't know. But Batman created this whole motif. So that's why I picked it. I picked it not because I'm a Batman guy. I picked it because the motif started with Batman. And then like not even like 2 years later, maybe, after he was done with Hush and he went with For Tomorrow, with Brian Azzarello, he did that. So I would go, and I like the Batman Wonder Woman combo. I like that. I like that combo. If that's going to be your first two, and then Superman has to come back on a rebound like Dennis Rodman. I had to go with chronology on that one. That was my motivating factor. What are your thoughts?
No, that's a good pick. That's how I anticipated you picking. But that's why I kind of wanted to see to the end. It was more of a test for you, to see if the gold wasn't, blinding you. So much gold, you just couldn't see past it. So
I couldn't. No. It was like, it was a no-brainer. Plus, if that is the error variant that has a little, uniqueness to it too. So here's mine. It's funny. We kind of think alike, because this next round is the same cover that made it. Okay, but the actual first printing. So this is signed. This is Infinite Crisis #3, right? Standard cover, but it has no George Perez on it, but it has Jeff Johns, Allison Clare, Norm Rapman, and Phil Jimenez. So it actually has more SIGs on it. I think it will have more SIGs on it. So there's this, right? All right, and then Batman 125, signed by Chip Zdarsky, who put a nice bat logo on there, and Jorge Jimenez. Okay, and so the reason why I this made the cut, obviously this is the first appearance of Jaime Reyes with Infinite Crisis, right? And I'm kind of a completionist, so I kind of wanted to get both covers done, so that's why that's there. But then this one is a no-brainer. This is Chip Zdarsky's first issue of Batman, by the way. So Batman 125 is Chip Zdarsky's first issue of Batman, and his first issue with the collaborator, Jorge Jimenez. And then I thought this would be great to get Jim Lee on it, but I am 50-50 on it. This could wait. To me, getting Chip and Jorge on it was kind of like the harder get for me. I'm going to see Jim Lee somewhere, some way, if we're both healthy. You know what I mean? I'm going to see him. So so either way, either one of these could be deferred. What do you pick?
Man, you're right. We do have a lot of similarities, and I agree. I'm a bit of a completionist, so I'm gonna have to give it to Infinite Crisis, man.
Infinite Crisis makes the cut.
They will complement each other so well on your wall.
Yeah, Infinite Crisis, and like Tony, I'm so honest. Like it didn't matter. Like, to me, I would have been happy with that, with the Batman or the Infinite Crisis, but when you put them together like that,
ooh, gorgeous.
It's just insane. And here's the other kick. This is the missing link. So once Jim Lee signs this, then he signed all of the color covers of Infinite Crisis. So then I'll have all of them signed by Jim Lee. So he'll have all of his cover A's signed. So this is the missing link. This will complete the set. That's also why I brought this up, because I'm like, okay, Infinite Crisis has been out for a while now. I can finish it and put this to rest, okay? And then, or if you would have picked the Batman, I would have been like, okay, at least I have this. This is also a missing link because they're the same issue. But it's not quite the same if you don't have the cover A with it too.
Yeah, that's a good choice. I like it.
Yeah, man. All right, so here we go. We got to do our rapid fire recaps. So we're just going to do what made the cut. What are we bringing to Baltimore Comic Con, Tony?
First, we go with the casting in no particular order in case they get out of order.
Right.
We just selected that one. We went with the easy pick, Uncanny X-Men. I know it's DC guys, so hey, you got to pay your respects where respect is due.
Yes, sir.
I also went with the very elusive and possibly one of a kind CBS Action Zone. I keep saying CBS Action Zone. I'm excited for this one.
Super. I'm excited for that one, dude.
Wonder Woman, cool foil from this current run, and of course, Batman.
Man, those are some great choices. I'm glad to be a friend. I'm glad I was able to help you out with those 5. I think you're gonna be suited and booted and real well executed, man. I can't wait to be there with you to see those done. So I would be right there with you when you get those done. All right, so rapid fire for me. Obviously, no brainer for you, Tony. This super rare Burbank edition of Batman 608. Jeff Loeb will be there as well.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yes,
I got some books for him. Yeah.
So, and I'm going to get every issue of Long Halloween signed by Jeff Loeb, and it's already signed by Tim Sale. So,
you lucky duck.
Yeah. So, but this one here is for Jim Lee. Then we picked the world's finest, and you're absolutely right. I can hit Jim Lee and Mark Waid at this show. So that's why I'm glad you picked that. I was surprised you picked this, but I'm not shocked because it's for the same reasons why I picked the Ninja Turtles. It's that, kind of oddball crossover thing. You don't know if it's ever going to happen again. And it's kind of promoting a medium outside of comics as well. Like the TV show with you. This is Fortnite for me. So I love that. Then you picked Infinite Crisis number 3. This was a no-brainer. You got freaking George Perez on there with Jeff Johns and Jorge Jimenez with Jim Lee. That's going to be crazy.
That's going to be a treasure when it's all done.
Yes. And then this one here, I'm really happy that you picked this one, Tony, because like I said, now I'll have every issue of Infinite Crisis signed by the cover artist. So I have all the Jim Lee covers signed by Jim Lee, and I have all the George Perez covers signed by George Perez as well. So great minds think alike.
Yeah.
This was the missing link, and we have filled that gap. So definitely it was a great show. Recapping everything, Stats Fam. I just want to remind you all that the more you prepared to go to these shows, the more you'll be able to have the outcomes that you want, and the more prepared you'll be for opportunity that you do not foresee. Because sometimes things happen that you can't plan, but if you already have your prep game already established, you're ready to seize the moment. Tony, this was great. I hope you all are subscribed to the Signature King on YouTube. My man does daily reels. We're going to see each other finally for the first time in person at Baltimore Comic Con. There's so many heads going to be at this show. I can't wait. And we're definitely going to have to do another show to see our spoils, to see what our highlights are from that, because this is just a fraction of what we're bringing. And I think it's probably the most problematic stack probably. But I know by far there's other people on the list. And I'm just excited. And it's going to be great because you'll be able to see the whole crew. You'll see, the whole staff, most of the staff family will be with me from LA, from all over. So this is going to be a big reunion. I cannot wait. Well, that's all for our show. If you like what you see, please subscribe and hit the like button. This is Sig Slayers. I'm Mike, speaking for Tony, the Signature King. We are out. Peace. Sig Slayers.